I'm buried in spreadsheets when the pounding on my door starts. Not knocking, pounding, like someone's using the side of their fist, frantic and desperate. Just a second. I call, but the hammering continues. On my laptop screen, Mr. Rosenberg from Wilson Financial smiles patiently. His silver-rimmed glasses catch the light as he waits for my response to the pie chart labeled Asset Allocation Plan. $620,000 that fills half the screen. The numbers still don't seem real, even after 3 weeks of knowing. Miss Alvarez, should we proceed with this allocation? Sorry, someone's at my door. Can you give me 5 minutes? The pounding grows more insistent, rattling the cheap door of my apartment. I hurry across the worn carpet, irritation prickling under my skin. This Zoom call took weeks to schedule, and the timing couldn't be worse. I swing the door open and find my sister, Catalina, mascara streaking down her face, her chest heaving like she's run up all 4 flights of stairs. Trinity, she gasps, her voice breaking. Eric's business, it failed, completely failed. Her fingers dig into my arm with desperate strength. He just told me. He owes $200,000 to investors. We're going to lose everything. Cat, I'm in the middle of a meeting. You don't understand. Her voice pitches higher, edging toward hysteria. The investors are threatening to sue. We could lose the house, the cars, everything. Before I can stop her, she pushes past me, the scent of her expensive perfume flooding my small apartment. You have to help me, Eric owes. She freezes mid-sentence. Her eyes lock on my laptop screen, still showing the Zoom call. Mr. Rosenberg's face in one corner, the asset allocation pie chart dominating the display. I watch her face transform. The desperation drains away, replaced by something cold and calculating. Her eyes narrow slightly as they fix on the title, Asset Allocation Plan, $620,000. I need to go, I say quickly to Mr. Rosenberg, slamming my laptop shut. But it's too late. You, Catalina's voice drops to a whisper. You won the lottery? My stomach knots. This wasn't how anyone was supposed to find out. Not yet. Not until everything was set up, protected, allocated properly. It just happened. I say, feeling cornered in my own apartment. 3 weeks ago, I was waiting to tell everyone until... You were going to hide this? Her voice rises with each word. Hide this while my family is falling apart? The tears are gone now, replaced by something harder. Something uglier. My God, Trinity, we're about to lose everything, and you're sitting on a fortune? It's not that simple, Kat. I have plans for this money. I have debt, and... I can't believe this. She grabs her purse from where she dropped it. My husband is having a breakdown and you're... What? Planning your retirement? That's not fair. The door slams so hard my framed accounting certificate rattles on the wall. I stand frozen, staring at the closed door, my heart hammering in my chest. The quiet of my apartment feels suddenly suffocating. My phone buzzes on the table, probably Mr. Rosenberg trying to reconnect our call, but I can't move. My mind flashes back to when I was 14, begging my parents for piano lessons. Mom's regretful smile. That's too expensive, Trinity. Then, 3 months later, watching the delivery men struggling to maneuver a gleaming upright piano through our front door. For Catalina's lessons, Mom had explained, not meeting my eyes. 2 years later, I saved every dollar from my diner job for 6 months to buy a rusted Toyota that sputtered and coughed its way down our street. The same month, Dad surprised Catalina with a brand new Honda for her 16th birthday. Your sister isn't a hard worker like you, Trinity, he'd explained. She needs the help. My phone rings, cutting through my thoughts. Catalina's name flashes on the screen. I answer, my mouth dry. Kat, listen. Mom and Dad know everything. Her voice is distant, cold. They want to see you. I was going to tell everyone. I just needed time to... Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. She hangs up. I sink onto my couch, the phone still clutched in my hand. 3 weeks of careful planning, of dreaming about how this money could change my life. The student loans finally paid off. A small house with a yard. Professional certification courses. All of it threatened by a 20-second glimpse of my computer screen. But a small, hard part of me isn't surprised. Of course Catalina would find a way to make my windfall about her. Of course my parents would take her side. Some patterns never change, even when you're almost 30 years old. I pick up my laptop, open it, and dial Mr. Rosenberg again. His concerned face appears on the screen. Miss Alvarez? Is everything all right? No, I say, my voice steadier than I expect. But let's finish setting up my accounts anyway. Something tells me I'm going to need every protection I can get. My phone pings with a text from Catalina at 6 a.m. I've barely slept, spending the night replaying her dramatic exit, wondering if I should have handled it differently. The message is brief. Mom needs to talk to you. Call her. I don't. Not yet. I need coffee first, and time to gather my thoughts. What exactly am I supposed to say? Sorry I won the lottery and didn't immediately offer to solve all your problems? By 9, my phone rings. My mother's name flashes on the screen. With a deep breath, I answer. Trinity, she says, her voice clipped and cold. Not worried, not curious. Cold and judgmental, like I've been caught stealing. Mom, I was going to tell everyone about the money. I just needed... How could you treat your sister that way? Her words slice through mine. After everything this family has done for you. My coffee cup freezes halfway to my lips. What? Mom? Catalina burst into my apartment during a work meeting. She saw something on my screen she wasn't supposed to see yet. Don't lie. The chill in her voice deepens. Catalina told us everything. My stomach knots. What exactly did she tell you? That you humiliated her, that you flaunted your money while she was begging for help. The accusation hits like a physical blow. I grip the phone tighter. That's not what happened. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m., at Morton's Steakhouse. Your father and I need to talk to you about how you treated Catalina. You will be there. Not a request, a summons. Mom. 7 o'clock. Don't be late. She hangs up. I stare at my phone, my hand trembling with a fury I rarely allow myself to feel. Catalina hasn't just twisted the story, she's completely inverted it. In her version, I'm the villain who tormented her in her moment of need. Before I can think twice, I dial Lauren's number. She's been my colleague for 3 years, and the closest thing I have to a real friend, the only person who's seen the twisted dynamic of my family up close. They're lying about me. I tell her after explaining everything. My mom just called, and according to her, I humiliated Catalina. They want to meet tomorrow at Morton's. It's a trap, Trinity. Lauren's voice is firm. They're going to corner you. I know. The strange thing is, I do know. For the first time, I see the pattern with perfect clarity. But they're lying about me. I have to go. I have to set the record straight. Lauren sighs. Okay. But remember, no is a complete sentence. You don't owe them an explanation. The next evening, I arrive at Morton's Steakhouse 10 minutes early. The host leads me to a private room in the back. My heart hammers against my ribs as I push open the heavy oak door. They're already seated, my mother, father, and Catalina arranged on one side of the table like a tribunal. Their faces are masks of disapproval. No one stands to greet me. Sit down, my father, Miguel, says, gesturing to the lone chair across from them. I slide into the seat, arranging my face into a neutral expression. The waiter appears, but my father waves him away. We'll order later. I can't believe you would treat your sister this way. My father begins the moment the door closes. I treated her? She stormed into my apartment. The words burst out before I can stop them. My mother's face tightens. Don't lie. Catalina told us everything. Eric's debt is $200,000. This is life or death for them. Catalina stares at the tablecloth, a tear sliding down her cheek. The perfect victim. I wasn't going to hide the money forever, I say, fighting to keep my voice steady. I just needed time to set everything up properly. My father leans forward, his eyes hard. We've discussed it. You will give your sister $310,000, half for you, half for her. She will pay off the business debt and start over. That is what's fair. I stare at him, speechless. Half my money, just like that, as if my lottery win wasn't mine at all, but a family resource. As if I have no right to my own future. Fair? The word tastes bitter on my tongue. It's my money. I have a plan for it. A plan? My mother scoffs. What plan could be more important than saving your sister's family? I open my mouth to explain the student loans, the professional certification courses, the down payment on a modest house, but stop. They don't care about my plans. They never have. Either you agree to split it, my father continues, his voice dropping to something dangerous, or you are no longer our daughter. Don't ever come back. The ultimatum hangs in the air. Not a negotiation, not a discussion, a demand with a threat attached. In that moment, the naive hope I've carried my entire life that one day, somehow, my family would see me as equal to Catalina dies. What replaces it is cold clarity. I stand up slowly, reaching for my purse. I take out my wallet and remove 5 $20 bills. I place them deliberately on the table. For my part of the meal, I say, my voice steadier than I expect, I used to think I was just an outsider in this family. Thank you for officially confirming that tonight. Catalina's head snaps up, her eyes wide with shock. My mother's mouth opens, but no words come out. My father's face darkens with rage. I turn and walk toward the door, my steps measured. Behind me, I hear my mother's voice, shrill with panic. Trinity, don't you dare walk out. But I'm already gone, pushing through the restaurant's front doors into the cool evening air. My hands are shaking, but my mind is clear. For the first time in my life, I've chosen myself over their approval. It feels like freedom. It feels like loss. Both at once. I get into my car, grip the steering wheel, and let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. My phone starts buzzing in my purse. My mother, no doubt. I silence it without looking. The family I've always known is behind me now. What lies ahead is up to me. My phone vibrates for the 17th time in 30 minutes. The screen lights up with my Uncle Richard's name, someone I haven't spoken to since my college graduation 7 years ago. I let it ring. Again. When it stops, I check the voicemail count. 14 new messages. I tap the most recent one. Trinity, it's your Uncle Rich. This isn't like you. Your sister is in crisis. How can you be so selfish? Call your mother. Delete. The next one is from Aunt Patricia. You're ungrateful after everything your parents did for you. Family means sacrifice. Delete. 3 more texts arrive in rapid succession. 2 from cousins I barely recognize in Christmas photos. 1 from my father. I open his. You're embarrassing this family. You think we'll just let this go? You'll regret this. My stomach twists. The threat isn't subtle. The phone slips from my hand onto the couch. A week has passed since I walked out of that steakhouse, and the harassment has only intensified. Every buzz of my phone sends a jolt of anxiety through my chest. Every accusation, ungrateful, selfish, heartless, chips away at my resolve. My finger hovers over my banking app. Maybe I should just wire the money. Just make it stop. Let Catalina have her way, like always. I dial Lauren's number instead. They won't stop, I say when she answers, my voice breaking. It's everyone now. Aunts, uncles, cousins. My dad just threatened me. What exactly did he say? Lauren's voice is calm, measured. I read her the text. That's not a father, she says after a pause. That's an extortionist. Maybe I should just give them something. Half of what they asked, just to make this stop. Listen to me very carefully, Trinity, Lauren says, her voice taking on an edge I've never heard before. If you do this, you will be their bank forever. This isn't family, it's extortion. You are stronger than this. I hang up, cradling the phone against my chest as tears leak down my cheeks. But when I look at the screen, at my father's threat glowing in the darkness of my apartment, something inside me shifts. The fear isn't gone, but now there's something colder underneath it. I don't feel scared anymore, I feel cold. I stand up, wiping my eyes with the back of my hand, and walk to my desk. I open my laptop and create a new email address. Then I methodically block every number that has called or texted me in the past week. 17 in total. When I finish, the silence feels strange, fragile. I call my landlord next. Miss Reynolds? This is Trinity Alvarez from 4B. I need to break my lease. I'll pay whatever fee is required. That's a 3-month penalty, Miss Alvarez. Are you sure? Yes. And can you tell me if there are any vacancies in your other buildings? Preferably something unlisted. A pause. We have a unit in our West Side complex. It just became available yesterday. Not listed yet. I'll take it. I hang up and look around my apartment. 4 years of my life contained in these walls. 4 years of building my career, paying down my student loans little by little, making this place feel like mine. I walk to the closet and pull out a suitcase. Then I drag the storage bins from under my bed. Methodically, I begin to fold shirts, pants, sweaters. Each movement is precise, controlled. I am not running away. I am making a strategic retreat. 4 days later, I'm taping up another box when the pounding starts on my door. Not knocking, pounding, like someone using the side of their fist, frantic and desperate. Trinity! Trinity! Catalina's voice, shrill and wild. I know you're in there. Open this door right now. I freeze, a framed photo of Lauren and me at her birthday party still in my hand. I place it carefully into the box, then turn toward the door. You're a coward, Catalina shouts, her voice cracking. You're destroying this family. How can you just hide in there while everything falls apart? I stand motionless in the center of my half-packed apartment. The girl who opened the door to her sister's crisis 3 weeks ago would have rushed to explain, to defend, to soothe. That girl is gone. Dad had to take money from their retirement. Catalina is screaming now, her voice raw. They're going to lose the house because of you. I tape another box shut. Trinity, please. Her voice drops to a sob that seeps through the door. Please, I'm begging you. I press my palms against my ears, but I can still hear her crying. The sound tugs at something deep inside me, the little sister who always wanted to make things right, to keep the peace, to be the strong one. But I'm not that person anymore. Catalina's sobs eventually fade into silence. When I finally check the peephole, the hallway is empty. I turn back to my apartment, surveying the stacks of boxes, the bare walls, and in the quiet aftermath, I make a decision. I'm not just moving, I'm upgrading my entire life. The doorbell rings at 7, and I open it to find Lauren holding a pizza box and a roll of packing tape. Reinforcements have arrived, she announces, brushing past me into the apartment. She sets the pizza on the counter and surveys the boxes. You weren't kidding. You're really doing this. She walks to the kitchen table where I've stacked my mail, rifling through the pile of envelopes. She holds up several with red final notice stamps across the front. Good, she says, examining the disconnection notices for my utilities. You're scorching the earth. I'm proud of you. We sit cross-legged on the floor, eating pizza straight from the box. Lauren gestures at my laptop, open to a spreadsheet. What's that? My original financial plan. I'm executing it exactly as I intended. Lauren leans over to examine the screen. 65% invested, 10% for debt and CPA fees, 20% for a house down payment, 5% emergency fund. Very Trinity. My family thinks I'm just hiding, I say, wiping my hands on a paper napkin. They don't understand. I'm building. Lauren raises an eyebrow. CPA fees. I nod. I'm signing up for the certification program. I should have done it years ago, but I couldn't afford it. So, while they've been harassing you, I've been planning my future. I reach for my laptop and pull up the application page for the CPA exam. My family can tear themselves apart fighting over money that isn't theirs. I have work to do. Lauren raises her soda can to scorched earth. I clink my can against hers. And new growth. 2 days later, I stand in my new apartment. The space is empty except for a folding chair, my laptop, and an air mattress. The silence wraps around me like a blanket. No pounding on the door. No threatening texts. No family voices telling me what I owe them. I open my laptop. The CPA exam registration page glows on the screen. The fee is substantial, $1,200, but in my new financial reality, it's merely a strategic investment. My finger hovers over the Submit Payment button. For 29 years, my life has been defined by what my family needed from me. The strong one, the stable one, the backup plan. I click Submit. The confirmation page appears. My phone is silent. My new apartment feels like a fortress. The war is over for me. I am focusing on my own life. Trinity Alvarez, CPA. Not sister, not daughter, not savior, just Trinity. 1 year passes without a single text or call from my family. The silence stretches between us like an ocean, vast, deep, and impossible to cross without intention. But unlike before, when silence meant waiting for their approval, this quiet feels deliberate and purposeful. I spread textbooks across the wooden library table, highlighter poised over a particularly complex section on corporate tax law. Around me, other hopeful CPAs crane over similar texts, their faces pinched with concentration. My yellow marker glides across the page, illuminating key concepts I'll need to remember. The exam looms just 2 weeks away. My phone buzzes. Lauren, how's the studying marathon going? Still alive? I type back, barely. Tax laws are trying to kill me. She responds with a laughing emoji and, you've got this, drinks after you ace that test. The text makes me smile. Lauren has been my rock this past year. When my family's attempts to contact me finally fizzled out, she was there with takeout and bad movies. When I cried on my birthday, the first one without a call from my mother, she showed up with cupcakes and refused to let me wallow. The day of the CPA exam arrives with spring rain tapping against my windshield. The testing center is a sterile room with rows of computers, each occupied by someone with the same nervous energy crackling around them. I settle into my assigned seat, take a deep breath, and begin. 4 hours later, I walk out, my brain feeling like overcooked pasta, but something in my chest feels solid, anchored. I've done this completely on my own. No family drama, no distractions. Just me and my determination. 6 weeks later, the email appears in my inbox with a simple subject line: CPA, examination results. My fingers shake as I click it open. Congratulations, Trinity Alvarez. You have successfully passed all sections of the Uniform CPA examination. I stare at the screen, pressing my hand against my mouth to hold back a sound that's half laugh, half sob. Then my work email pings with a new message. Trinity, congratulations on your CPA certification. This, combined with your consistent performance, warrants recognition. Please see me this afternoon to discuss your promotion to senior accountant, effective next month. Regards, Howard Miller, CFO. The email is brief, almost clinical, but it's the validation I've been working toward for years. I press my palms against my eyes, breathing deeply. 3 months later, I'm standing in a small yard, my yard, watching a realtor pull a sold sticker across the for sale sign. The house isn't much, a modest 2-bedroom bungalow with faded green shutters and a slightly sloping front porch. But it's mine. Every cracked tile and drafty window belongs to me. Congratulations, Miss Alvarez, the realtor says, handing me a set of keys that gleam in the late summer sunlight. You're officially a homeowner. I run my thumb over the jagged metal edges of my new house key. $124,000 down, with a 15-year mortgage that my new salary can comfortably handle. Exactly as I'd planned when I first saw that lottery check. That evening, I plant purple and yellow pansies along the front walk. The soil feels cool between my fingers as I carefully position each seedling. When I'm finished, I sit on my porch steps, a glass of wine beside me, and watch the sunset paint my little house in shades of gold. My phone rarely rings these days. No drama, no urgent crises requiring my attention or money. Just the occasional call from Lauren, my boss, or a client. The peace feels earned. What I don't know, what I can't know, is that across town, my parents are signing documents of their own. Miguel and Teresa Alvarez sit at their dining room table, the one where we had Sunday dinners for decades, papers spread before them, waiting for signatures. A man in a suit explains terms: home equity line of credit, and fixed interest rate, and disbursement schedule. $200,000 is a significant portion of your home equity, he cautions. Are you certain this is necessary? My father nods solemnly. Our daughter needs us. Her husband's business failed and they have nowhere else to turn. My mother's hand trembles slightly as she signs her name beside my father's. They believe they're rescuing Catalina, salvaging Eric's business reputation, preserving the family's good name. What they don't know, what they won't learn until it's too late, is that Eric's business never existed. 2 weeks later, Eric cashes the check from my parents, hands shaking with relief. He doesn't use it to pay business investors. Instead, he makes a phone call. I've got the money, he tells someone on the other end. All of it. We're square now, right? The voice that answers is cold, professional. This covers the principal. There's still the matter of our interest rate. What? No, You said 200,000 would clear it. That was before you missed 3 payments. Eric's face drains of color. I don't have anything else. My in-laws mortgaged their house for this. A laugh crackles through the phone. Not our problem, friend. You've got 30 days. The following month, my father opens his front door to find 2 men standing on his doorstep. They don't look like businessmen. One has a tattoo creeping up his neck. The other has a scar bisecting his eyebrow. Mr. Alvarez, the taller one asks, his voice deceptively pleasant. We're associates of Eric's. May we come in? They step inside without waiting for an answer. There seems to be some confusion, the man with the scar says, examining a family photo on the wall. He picks it up, studies it. Eric told you he needed money for his business, correct? My father nods slowly, confusion etching lines around his eyes. That's funny, the tattooed man says, not laughing. Because Eric doesn't have a business. Eric has a gambling problem, and he owes our employer another 150,000. The photo fell from my mother's hand when the scarred man, after he'd finished looking at it, held it out to her instead of putting it back. My mother, still in shock from the news, didn't realize she was a beat too slow. The glass shattered on the wooden floor. That's not possible, she whispers. We gave him everything to pay off his business debt. Not business, the taller man corrects. Blackjack, mostly. Some sports betting. He's been a good customer for years. My father sits heavily in his armchair. Years? Oh yes. Did your daughter not tell you? We're surprised she put up with it this long. Most wives notice when the mortgage doesn't get paid. Across town, Catalina is tearing through Eric's home office, pulling open drawers, rifling through files. She finds them hidden behind the water heater. Bank statements showing withdrawals of thousands of dollars at casino ATMs. Credit card bills for cash advances. Loan applications with forged signatures, her signature. Later that night, as I'm watering my new pansies, Catalina sits at her kitchen table. Divorce papers spread before her. Her hands are steady as she signs each flagged section. Her children sleep upstairs, unaware that their world is about to change forever. The next morning, Eric returns home to find the locks changed and a manila envelope taped to the front door. While I plan next spring's garden, my sister begins planning her new life as a single mother. I've almost forgotten what it's like to wake up without dread. My morning routine now feels like mine alone, coffee brewing in a kitchen with pale green walls. I chose myself, sunlight filtering through curtains no one else's hands have touched. My CPA license hangs framed beside my accounting degree. The silence in my house belongs to me. The notification chimes as I'm reviewing quarterly projections. A new email. The little sound shouldn't make my stomach twist, but it does. From Teresa Alvarez, 1963, @email.com. I haven't seen that address in 14 months. My finger hovers over delete. I should trash it unread, maintain the wall I've built brick by careful brick. But something that sliver of weakness I still haven't excised makes me tap it open. The message is short, the digital equivalent of a whisper. Your father and I took out a HELOC to pay Eric's debts, believing we were saving his business. It wasn't enough. Loan sharks came to our house. We found out the truth, Trinity. It wasn't a business loss, it was gambling. We've lost all our savings. Catalina has filed for divorce from Eric. We are not asking for money, we just want to talk. I stare at the words until they blur. Loan sharks. Gambling. Not business debt. The revelation cuts through me like winter wind, not because I care about Eric's lies, but because my parents sacrificed their retirement for him, for Catalina, just as they always did. The room feels suddenly hollow. I push back from my desk and pace across the hardwood floors I picked out myself, past the framed certification that cost me countless nights of study. My phone vibrates, Lauren calling. I let it ring through, knowing she'll leave a message. She doesn't disappoint. Hey, I know today's the big review with Hannigan. Knock 'em dead. Call me after and we'll celebrate at McCormick's. Lauren doesn't know about the email. She's been my rock, but this decision is mine alone. I click reply. My fingers hesitate over the keyboard before typing 6 words. Café Brûlée. Tomorrow. 12:30. My lunch break. The power feels strange, uncomfortable but right. Like a pair of shoes that pinch because they haven't been broken in yet. When tomorrow arrives, I select my clothes with unusual care: charcoal pencil skirt, crisp white blouse, and the forest green blazer I bought to celebrate my promotion. The woman in my mirror looks composed, professional, successful. She looks nothing like the accountant who trembled in a steakhouse booth 14 months ago. Café Brûlée sits wedged between a bookstore and an artisan bakery. I arrive 10 minutes early, choosing a table near the window where sunlight spills across the polished wood. I order a simple black coffee and watch the door. They arrive together, my mother and father, scanning the café with uncertain eyes. They look smaller somehow. My father's shoulders slump beneath his faded button-down shirt. My mother clutches her purse against her chest like armor. I don't stand when they spot me. I don't wave. I simply watch as they thread between tables, their faces a mixture of relief and apprehension. "Trinity," my father says, his voice rougher than I remember. "Thank you for meeting us." They sit across from me, adjusting themselves in their chairs like they're preparing for a job interview. The waiter approaches. They both order water. "How have you been?" my mother asks, her eyes darting around my face, cataloging changes. "Good," I reply, the word clean and simple. I passed my CPA exam. I was promoted to senior accountant 6 months ago. "Congratulations," my father says, the word hanging awkward in the air. Silence stretches between us, taut as a wire. My father breaks first. "We were wrong," he says, his hands curling into loose fists on the table. "We believed. We wanted to believe." His voice cracks. "We've lost everything." My mother's eyes fill. We didn't know." The bell above the cafe door chimes. Catalina enters, scanning the room before spotting us. She looks different, thinner, sharper somehow. Her designer clothes replaced by simple jeans and a button-up shirt. Her makeup minimal, her hair pulled back. She slides into the fourth chair without greeting. Her eyes meet mine, level and clear. "I was jealous," she says without preamble. "You were always so strong, always knew what you wanted." She swallows hard. "I thought I was trying to save my family from a business debt. When I found out it was all a lie." "That is gambling," her voice catches. "I divorced him." She looks at our parents, then back to me. Something in her gaze has changed, hardened. "I realized Mom and Dad enabling me is what ruined me. I'm a single mom now." She continues, her voice steadier. "For the first time, I understand the burden you've always carried." I sip my coffee, letting her words settle. The strange thing is, I feel nothing. No triumph, no anger, no satisfaction. Just a profound, sad pity for these 3 people who look like they've been through a storm without shelter. They didn't just ask for $310,000. They stole $200,000 from their own future trying to get it. They destroyed themselves pursuing what they thought I owed them. "I'm glad you're getting help," I say finally. "I'm glad you're moving forward." I glance at my watch and stand. My lunch break is over. I have to get back to work. Their faces register a quiet shock, as if they'd expected me to offer something more: forgiveness, perhaps, or money. I take a $5 bill from my wallet and place it beside my empty cup. "Just enough for my coffee. Take care of yourselves," I say, smoothing my blazer. I walk out into the sunlight, feeling the weight of their gazes on my back. I didn't do anything to them. I simply built my life while they dismantled theirs. My success and my boundaries allowed them to face the consequences of their own actions. That is revenge enough. As I walk back toward my office building, my phone buzzes with a text from Lauren. "How did it go?" I type back, "It's over. I'll tell you tonight." For the first time in 14 months, I feel truly, completely free. 5 years blur past like roadside scenery. I'm standing in front of the mirror in the executive restroom, adjusting my blazer and reminding myself that I've earned this moment. The nameplate on my office door now reads, Trinity Alvarez. Accounting manager. The diploma for my MBA sits in a simple frame on my desk. Evidence of 3 years of night classes and weekends hunched over textbooks. My phone buzzes. A text from Catalina. Dropping kids at Mom's Saturday. Want to bring them by Sunday for lunch? They've been asking about Aunt Trinity. I smile, just slightly. The texts come more regularly now. They're polite, cautious, nothing like the desperate calls from 5 years ago. Catalina works full-time at Blooms and Baskets on Hawthorne, arranging flowers with the same fingers that once pounded on my apartment door. Sunday works. 12:30? I text back. The woman in the mirror looks nothing like the accountant who once huddled in a cramped apartment, watching numbers on a screen that didn't seem real. That woman hoped a windfall would change her life. She never realized how profoundly it would change everyone else's too. Later that evening, I log into my investment account. The portfolio has grown steadily, nothing flashy, just the patient accumulation that compound interest promises. But my attention drifts to a smaller account in the corner of the screen. Alvarez Children 529 plan. Each month, $1,000 flows from my account into this one, split evenly between my niece and nephew. The doorbell rings. Through the peephole, I see Lauren on my porch, holding a bottle of wine and takeout bags. "You're going to be late for your own celebration dinner," she says, pushing past me with the same confidence she showed when helping me pack boxes 5 years ago. "I was reviewing something," I reply, closing the laptop. "Let me guess. The kids' college fund?" Lauren uncorks the wine, filling 2 glasses. "You're obsessed with that account." "Not obsessed. Just committed." I take a sip. "Dad called yesterday. Asked about a loan again." Lauren's eyebrows shoot up. "And?" I said no, like always. I swirl the wine, watching it catch the light. But I reminded him about the grandkids' birthdays next month. My parents live in the same house, now weighed down by debt that will follow them into their graves. Our relationship exists in the neutral territory of occasional lunches and holiday gatherings. They've learned slowly, painfully, that my boundaries aren't suggestions. "Your interview comes out tomorrow," Lauren reminds me, unpacking containers of Thai food. The business journal piece. I nod, remembering the reporter's final question. "You've had such a rapid rise in your career. What's your secret?" The answer came easily. I didn't win the lottery to get rich. I won it to learn how to value myself, and to use that to break my family's cycle. The reporter looked confused, so I explained about the college fund for Catalina's children, how I'm ensuring the next generation gets a fair start. How some patterns can be broken, not by force, but by careful redirection. Sunday arrives with sunshine streaming through my kitchen windows. I hear Catalina's car pull into the driveway, doors slamming as 2 excited kids race to my front door. "Aunt Trinity!" They barrel into me with the unrestrained enthusiasm only children possess. Behind them stands Catalina, no longer the golden child, just a tired single mother working 60-hour weeks. Our eyes meet over the children's heads. "They saw your picture in that business journal," she says quietly. "They've been bragging to everyone at school that their aunt is famous." "Hardly famous," I reply, ushering them inside. "You're successful," she counters. There's no bitterness in her voice now, just a simple acknowledgement of fact. "You did it right." What she doesn't say. "You were strong when I was weak. You stood firm when I collapsed. You protected your boundaries when I had none." Instead, she says, "Thanks for having us over." And I know that in her own way, she's trying to break cycles too.